Hey rockers, welcome back to another true tale here in Southern Oregon where it's raining like freaking cats and dogs. It still is. Just pouring, man. And what are you going to do except tell a good YouTube story, right? So today I'm going to tell a story that I'm not real proud of, but at the same time, it happened. It's the truth. And, you know, if we don't learn from our past, we'll never learn, right? So we are our own best examples of how to live and how not to live. So I'm going to tell you a story that I don't regret, but I'm not proud of it either. Because, you know, it got me where I am today. Just one of the accumulative stories in my life that did get me where I am today. Before I get started, thank you and a shout out properly to the Geezers out of Chicago area. Sent me some great records in the mail. Thank you to Jack Geezer for these great records. And CD. Yeah, thank you to the Geezers, man. Good stuff, man. And let me say, man, I consulted with my younger brother, Steve, who's 5 years my junior. I wanted to pick his brain about the memories he has about the tale I'm going to tell, and I wanted to get, you know, his permission to air some dirty laundry on the YouTube. And he said, you know what, go for it, bro. Turns out he's a subscriber to the channel and he watches all the videos. So shout out to my brother Steve, who I love very much. Check it out, guys. It was 1992, maybe 1993. I'm dating a girl named Tracy, who we got together with her maybe around February or March of 92, I believe. And we'd been hanging out a lot. And this is about a year after we met. We were partying a lot. And there was a guy that she had went to a party with once, or she met at a party, and he kind of attached himself to her, and he was always seeing her in the bars. And even if she was with me, this guy just didn't care. Probably the alcohol, but he had no respect for the fact that she would be with me everywhere I went or wherever she went. And he would still come up and kind of get between us and talk to her and kind of hit on her. And at first, I just kind of let it go. She said there's nothing to be jealous about or anything like that. And I'm not really a jealous type unless I'm pushed. I think after a while, anybody gets jealous if you get disrespected enough times, man. Well, it kept happening. And this particular dude kept coming up to her, and it was getting to the point where I was getting sick and tired of it. And I was a big drinker then, and I had a tongue that was just a loose tongue, man. I would just say whatever came out of my mouth. But in, you know, respect for her, I tried not to say anything to this guy or act like some overly jealous boyfriend. Well, I was in a bad mood. It was a Saturday night, I believe. Tracy wanted to go out and party. A lot of our friends wanted to meet up downtown in Peoria, Illinois to go party. And I said, okay, cool, man, I'll go. But I'm not in the very good state of mind. And if I start drinking and if I see that one guy tonight, there's going to be trouble. And she's like, fine, it's going to be fine. We're not going to see him. What are the odds, you know? And I thought, okay, cool. Just giving a disclaimer. If I see him, it's not going to be good tonight. And I'm not looking the other way. So we went down to a little bar called the Judge's Chamber in Peoria, which was a bar that opened at like 6 in the morning. And like most bars in Peoria, downtown, all the bars close at 4 a.m. There's only a few places in the entire United States where bars stay open that late. So Peoria was always a big party town because you could literally get hammered all night, leave the bar at 4, go eat at Lum's or one of the local 24-hour diners, or go have Bloody Mary somewhere, you know, at home, and then go back to the bar. Now, this was back when I was a freaking raging alcoholic, so I'm just giving the disclaimer here. So on this particular night, Tracy and I go down to the Judge's Chamber. We meet up with Eric Tyndall, who is the guitar player for Bloody Mess and the Scabs for a little bit. He was also the guitar player with Lisa Leathers and Dollface for a bit. Great dude. We were all hanging out. And then my brother, of course, ended up coming down there. And we're all drinking tequila, drinking shots of tequila. And probably about half an hour before my brother got there, I noticed somebody sitting at the very end of the bar. We are all sitting at a table. There's like 6 of us at a big table. And there's a jukebox in the place. The place is small. They've got a security guy that's in there all the time. That was like the regular security guard, making sure, you know, when you're open that long as a bar from 6 a.m. to 4 in the morning, there's bound to be drunks and stuff happening, right? So they had the security guy that was in there all the time. He knew me, didn't care for me. I was kind of a radical. Well, I was a hellraiser. And every time I'd show up, they'd always watch my ass because they knew this guy could get out of hand any second. Well, I noticed that idiot was at the end of the bar and I was pissed off. I'm like, no. Then he makes the mistake of seeing us and walking over to our table. Tracy's standing up. She had just got a beer. She's standing up and I'm sitting down. And this guy starts talking to her, turns his back to me. And again, I was drinking. I was already in a bad mood. And I thought, man, what a bunch of disrespect. He's talking to this chick that I'm always with. It's obvious I'm her boyfriend. B, he's got his back turned to me, like cock blocking me even seeing him at all. And it's just like, dude, this ain't going to happen tonight. So I probably consumed at least, 12 beers and probably 4 or 5 shots of tequila. So at this point, I'm pretty cuckoo. I'm freaking hammered. And, well, the next part I'm going to tell you is not something I'm real proud of, but this happened. I was very drunk. I was very angry. I felt disrespected, and I didn't really care about what was going to happen with consequences. A lot of people have talked trash about me over the years. Oh, he's got a Jekyll and Hyde personality. No, I had a normal personality, and when I drank, then I had a Jekyll and Hyde thing going on. And who wouldn't after consuming that much booze? And to my credit, I would drink a fifth of booze at a time often. And of course, you're going to morph into something you're not, because alcohol makes you something you're not. And they call it spirits for a reason, man. And I'll leave it at that. I stand up and I see that dude. Tracy at this point had walked away and was going to she knew I was pissy and she wanted to get away from the table. This dude turns around and then I stand up and I go, man, you're pretty hot, man. And the dude goes, what'd you say? Big redneck guy, mustache, the whole deal. And on my first album, Bloody Mess and the Scabs, 6th grade field trip, I have a song on there called Mustache Man Syndrome, which was written a couple years before this incident. But yeah, there was always this thing with these Marlboro men types, and he was one of them. And he was a big dude, bigger than me. Like I'm 5'10", he was probably 6 foot, 6'1", I don't know. But he was a big dude, and he says to me, what'd you say? And I said, man, you sure have a nice ass, bro. And I'm acting like I'm looking at his butt. You got to understand, I'm not gay. I'm not bisexual. I'm not transgender. I'm a guy that likes girls, and I was with one that night, and I'm still with her. Well, this dude trips out, and I thought, how can I really get to this guy and make him make the first move so I can knock his freaking teeth down his throat? That's how I was thinking, man. Well, he freaked out, and after I'd said a couple of those kind of gay remarks, he got pissed, and he starts getting physical, like he's gonna hit me or something, but he didn't hit me. So what happened was I couldn't get him to react enough. Like I really wanted this to go down bad. So instead of punching the guy, I hate to admit this, I'm smoking a cigarette, right? I take the cigarette, I walk up to him and put it directly out on his cheek, grinding it into his cheek. It's horrible to think I would never do that today, man, especially sober. Right now I'm sober, so then I was far from it. So all I remember is hearing this guy go, ah! And he freaked out because I was literally doing it so quickly that he couldn't do anything about it. And I kept thinking, well, this pays you back for the last 18 times I've seen you, and you've disrespected me, bro. I didn't say that, but I was thinking that. Well, when this happened, people started standing up everywhere. The people that noticed it started freaking out. And then right then, I grabbed that dude and just started like grabbing him by the neck. And then all hell broke loose, dude. My brother stands up and punches the guy. Boom! He's punched. Now there's like a full-on gunsmoke, Western kind of barroom brawl kind of thing going on. And everyone's like pushing each other, shoving, screaming, trying to get at me. And that dude's tripping, man. And he's so mad, he wants to kill me. So what happens was he gets out the front door, and then the security guy goes and stands in front of the door like this. Like, I'm not letting you leave, and no one's coming in. And I'm like thinking to myself, what do I got to do to get this guy out of the front door? Because I will get him to move somehow, no matter what it takes. So I remember walking over to the security guard. Fights are breaking out around me. People are screaming and yelling. They're calling the cops. And the guy says to me, you ain't going nowhere. We're calling the police. And I go, I don't care who you're calling. You're either going to move right now or we're going to physically move you, dude. And like 4 of my friends were right there. And we were going to grab that guy and peel him away from that door and, get out. Well, he knew that I wasn't kidding. And he saw what just went down. And he walked away from the door like this. He just slowly slid away, like his integrity and ego were at stake here, but he wasn't going to get hurt over it. So he moved. And I opened the front door to go out, and that dude's out there like, come on, come on. He rips his own shirt off. So he's out there, and there's like 30 people on the street. Yeah, kick his ass. Like trying to get me to get my ass kicked. And I'm like, oh, man, this is too much. So I start duking it out with this guy, and I'm getting the better of him. Like I'm winning. And I got him to where he was either down or he was just leaving me alone at this point. People are screaming. I'm like, man, any second the police are going to pull up here and I'm going to be in trouble or not. Depends who tells what story and who they believe. And then I forgot, the security guy saw it all, and they're going to, of course, use his authority to get me taken away. So I just started running down an alley. Right to the right of the judge's chamber is a big alley, and Peoria is full of them, and you could easily hide out down an alley and get away and go somewhere. So I ran down this alley, and everyone's screaming and yelling, and then some dude, I'm like halfway down the freaking alley thinking I'm not getting busted, and all I'm thinking about is saving my ass. I didn't grab my chick, I didn't grab my brother, I just bolted. And then next thing I know, this dude leans down the alley and goes, "Bloody, your brother's getting his ass kicked." He goes, "That guy's got your brother on the ground." That's what he said. And in my mind, I'm thinking, is my brother getting the worst of the fight now? Did something happen or what's? And then I'm like, I can't run away and leave my brother to deal with this alone. I'm going to go back and get this guy if he's on my brother. So I turn around and run back. And sure enough, they're in a big tussle. The guy is not really getting the better of my brother, but he had him like in a headlock, and my brother was still not really able to do whatever at that second. So I jumped in and grabbed the guy, and I pulled his hair so hard to get him off my brother that I literally felt like I had a wig in my hand when I took my hand away from his head. It was horrible. Absolutely dreadful when I think back about it. And that memory just popped into my mind right now. It was like I had a toupee in my freaking hand. That's how much hair came out because I wanted him off my freaking brother. And I got him off. But when I did, I looked up and I saw a cop coming up the road. I'm like, oh no. So I go, "Come on, Steve, let's run." So me and Steve, my brother, get up to run. And right then it was too late. The cops were there and we thought, we can't run because we're going to look immediately guilty. So we're going to have to stay here and face the music. So this guy's screaming, people are all yelling, the security guy and the bartenders are out there, and most of the people are against me except for maybe 20 people that were either friends or fans of my music that were there, and they were all like, "Yeah, Bloody did nothing." Well, the majority won, and after the cops talked to a few people, they came over and they handcuffed 2 people, me and my brother. So what happened was me and my brother went to jail. Good old Peoria County. I can't count the times I've been in and out of that place in my life, all because of alcohol-related bull crap, man. Don't drink booze. If it's not too late in your life, stay away from it, man. So anyway, we go to jail. I don't remember who in the hell bailed us out. I don't remember when we got out. I believe it was the next day. And then we realized that we had some charges to answer to, and we were going to court. This guy was going to, take us to court over assault charges and whatnot. So all of a sudden we were facing the music, and we were like, we've got to get an attorney. And since there's both of us and we're both going to be defending ourselves together in this lawsuit, why don't we just kick in our money together and we'll both get a good attorney? So yeah, we both had to go through the arduous task of finding someone to borrow money from at the time. And we both did. We both came up with a lot. And I remember it was very expensive. But the attorney we got was Howard Vincent Thomas. Now, his son, Sean Thomas, was a punk rocker in the punk scene in Peoria. So that's how I knew of Howard. And Howard was a pretty well-to-do and well-known attorney in the Peoria area that was very respected. I don't know if he was a former state's attorney, but he was friends with all the bigwigs, all the judges, the state's attorneys, prosecutors, and whatnot. And he liked me, man. He thought I was a fun character. We would talk about rock and roll and music, and he was like a pretty hip dude. Shout out to Howard Vincent Thomas. I don't even know if he's still alive today. I don't have any idea. But he was a good attorney, man. And me and my brother went up to meet with Howard Vincent Thomas at his law office, and he was ethical. He wasn't one of those attorneys that was going to say, okay, we're going to come up with this big lie, and you're going to stick to it. What he said was, okay, once we told him the story, without implicating ourselves as having actually done anything, he said to us, okay, so you guys didn't punch anybody, did ya? Right? And we said, no, we didn't punch anybody. You guys didn't do anything physical at all, right? Did ya? And we were like, nope, we didn't do anything physical at all. And of course, we're lying through our teeth. But this is how this game is played in the courtroom. It's a stupid game. Attorneys are a joke, but we had to use the attorney or go to jail. And so we got the attorney, we made a plan, and we had to go visit with him a couple times. And he was quite confident he could get us out of this. And I'm like, I don't know how, because we have witnesses there that saw it happen. But he said, you and your brother are going to stick to your story. So get your story down together. And when you guys get put on the stand, which you're going to, separately, and you won't be in the room with each other when it happens, so you'll have to have it down pat and don't waver. So me and my brother came up with the most basic possible story, very basic, stuck to it. The day of the court date, we got together with Howard Vincent Thomas in his office. And again, he said, what are we going to do today? And we said, we're going to stick to our story. So we go to court. And we're sitting in the court, and everyone's all dressed up, and we're up there, and the guy that, that we got in the fight with and stuff, he's on the stand, and he's saying pretty much, what happened, and he gets called, taken back off the stand, and some of this is muddy. At one point, they take my brother out of the courtroom, and they put me up there, and they ask me my version of everything. So I'm on the stand, and I'm just sticking to my story. I didn't do anything wrong. I didn't punch anybody. I didn't hurt anybody. Nope. Blah, blah, blah. Well, then my brother comes in, they pull me out, and I'm like, oh my gosh, we're either going to be screwed or not. I don't know. Well, Steve comes and gets back off. Then the judge doesn't know what to do because he knows there's somebody's BS in somewhere here, but he's got to prove it, right? Beyond a shadow of a doubt. So he gets that guy back up on the stand and starts to further question this guy, right? And me and my brother are sitting there and sweating bullets thinking, oh God, we can't afford to be going to jail. This would suck because I've only been in jail for the most part, maybe 2 days at a time ever, except as a juvenile. And there's a story on this channel about me doing 30 days in a juvenile detention center. Yeah, it's on this channel. Please take a moment to subscribe, like, and comment if you would. Back to the story. So the judge is further questioning this guy, and he actually says to him, so were you defending yourself? And he goes, absolutely. He goes, at any point did you physically try to hurt these guys to defend yourself? He goes, absolutely. I stepped outside of the bar, but I made sure that I stepped outside of the bar out of respect because I know the owners of that bar and the security guy, and I didn't want to mess up their bar. So I went outside and called Bloody out, and when he came out, I started to hit him. And well, right then, the judge takes his gavel. Okay, here's the deal, and I forget the wording, but he basically said, these guys are innocent. You've just been found guilty because you admitted that you physically attacked him, but these guys have never said they've attacked you or hit anybody. But you're saying to me that you called this guy out so you could hit him. And that was it. He just somebody had to admit some guilt in order to move on because this judge, these guys have been around. They knew that we were, some thugs. Some drunk idiots telling a bunch of crap. And anyway, the guy got convicted of it, or not convicted, but it was either, it was in his lap at this point. We were off the hook. We were not going to jail, and I couldn't believe it, man. So pretty soon we get outside in the hallway, and we're standing there, and our attorney walks up, and he goes, man, good job, guys. And he shakes our hands, and I'm like, man, thank you, Howard. He goes, hey, man, you guys stuck to your story. You told the truth, right? And we're like, yes, we told the truth. Oh boy, don't strike me down, man. But you know what happened was, the funny part, it's so funny. And then after that, we're walking away with Mr. Thomas down the hallway towards the elevator to leave. And he turns to me and he goes, he's getting ready to leave. And he goes, hey, Bloody. And I go, what? He goes, hey, man, you beat that guy twice. And I just started laughing my ass off. And to this day, whenever I think about him saying that, it kills me. Hey, Bloody, you beat that guy twice. And he starts laughing. I'm like, oh my God, the world of the attorney. How interesting. And then one final note. A little while later, we see the guy downstairs. He's like catching a bus or something. He's leaving. The guy that that just lost in court and that I beat twice. Well, he sees us and he comes up to my brother and he goes, hey man, I just want to say no hard feelings. And it's all good, man, or something. And my brother looks at him and goes, yeah, that's cool. But the next time I see you, I'm probably going to kick your ass. Something like that. And I just lost it. I'm like, oh my God. But my brother was one of these guys that had like a big super spiked GBH hair punk rock. He had a license plate that said hated and the number 1. And at that point in his life, just didn't give a single, you know what. And he's probably laughing his ass off right now saying, I still don't. Shout out to Steve. Listen, man, this is not one of those stories that I think is funny in terms of, haha, I'm this cruel person that lies and put cigarettes out on people's faces and, thinks it's hilarious. No, I learned from that kind of stuff, man. And it's not something that I like to talk about, but I thought, well, I've got a channel here that's basically designed to be my book in video form. And I thought I've got to include some of the stories that aren't just all, hey, I had a great time. So this is one of those stories, and I hope you guys appreciated it. And if you didn't, well, you can give me a thumbs down and tell me to go F myself if you want. I'm just kidding, man. Listen, I'll be back soon with more punk, rock, metal, and curveball tales right here at Bloody F Mess Official. Can I make it to 20 minutes on the dot? I think I can. Thanks for being here, guys. Cheers and rock on, man.